So I painted this painting back in 2023, and I stopped working on it for 2 years because I lost the inspiration, the motivation to continue painting it. But I found it again, and I'm just revisiting some old paintings that I started and stopped. And you know, it's okay to start and stop as long as you continue to start back up again, is what I always say. And you know, it's once I continue starting it again, I can just jump back into it and continue where I left off. Sometimes it happens that way, and sometimes we need like fresh eyes to really be inspired by something again. In this case, it took 2 years to be re-inspired by this one, but we got there, and that's all that matters. The architecture in this photo was just so beautiful, and it's just so awesome. And I was like, I don't know where this is in the world, but it's beautiful, and I really love the architecture. So I was like, let me kind of do a painting that has this architecture and the person and the subject in the photo. I don't really do those very often. And then it was on a smaller painting as well. It was like a 11 by 14. So that was interesting. I mean, so many different colors. You have your browns, you have the greens, you have just different colors that just make it and tie it all together, you know what I mean? And it's just so beautiful. I usually do like a underpainting. I noticed I didn't do an underpainting with this one, where usually like you take the white away from the canvas and you just kind of like you tone your surface before you start painting with colors. But I just went right in and I just started painting immediately. And I also noticed that this painting is not hyper realistic like I usually do. I kind of painted it from a distance, and I kind of took a step back from it and just kind of had a looser brush stroke with it. So now you've kind of got this like cartoonish like effect with it. So it's not super realistic, and I kind of like that effect. I kind of don't. It's kind of different from what I'm usually used to, and I think because it was so different, I did it in 2023, I wasn't used to it. So I was like, this is different than how I usually execute my paintings. And you know, it's fine. It turned out great because I was like, okay, I actually like this. This kind of grew on me a little bit over time. The more you stare at it, the more you just kind of experiment with different types of styles. And I was like, hey, this works. So that was another interesting fact about it. So I don't know if I'll practice more with, you know, distant paintings and just kind of not being so tight with it. But, you know, it has a different effect, you know, and I love like these impressionistic types of art styles where it's like it's implied that it's fabric, or it's implied that it's wood or brick or whatever material that you're trying to paint. It's not so concrete that it's such a tight painting. It's more on the looser scale, and that's fine, you know, like do that, whatever helps you implement that strategy best, go for it. You know, if you need to step back, if you need to squint your eyes, if you need to take your reference photo and blur the photo that you're looking at, go for it. This painting was super small in my opinion, so I was like, that alone just makes it a little bit more challenging, because I usually like to do big paintings, like grandiose, like wow in your face. But this wasn't really small, and there was a lot of detail in it, so you can't capture all that detail all at once. So I think that helped kind of like make a looser effect with it. So, and then there was the part in the background where there's all that texture in the architecture, where there's just mounds of like whatever wood or whatever that background material is. I thought I was going to paint that individually and do all these things, but I was like, nope, I'm just going to keep it loose. I'm just going to keep it light and figure out a way to make this work. And I made it work. I think it looks decent, you know, and that's the whole point. I just want to finish it and make it, you know, worthwhile. I think the experimentation is wonderful and great, and that's all that really matters. So here we are, and I love it so much. It's great. I really enjoyed painting the back panel of what she's standing up against. That part was really interesting. I had, the little painter's tape to keep my lines sharp in that regard. And then I started painting like the floor, and for some reason that was like really like therapeutic to me. I don't know, like just painting the stairs and the ground that she was walking on was just like very nice and just cohesive to me. So I don't know, it filled the sensory part of my brain to just keep going. The background of everything was just very, very, very messy, and I think that's kind of why I stopped, because I was like, what am I doing? This looks like crap. But honestly, the more you keep going, the better. The section of the painting where I started painting her dress was painted in 3 layers, so I used some diluted oil paint in the beginning to just create a base layer of red that I could go over later once it dried. It probably dried in like 30 minutes or so. And then you go in with a thicker layer with more oil paint for more pigment and all that stuff. So you just kind of build up the layers and continue on, adding a little bit of white, adding a little bit of different colors just to create that effect that you really want. I think where I got kind of like, what's happening here, was when I started doing like her skin and like the face and everything. But for such a small scale, I really did the face pretty well, actually. So I was like, okay. I just had my small little micro brushes, and I just painted it how I thought it would turn out, and it turned out great. I mean, it's fine for how small it is. It's like really, really small. So I don't usually paint that small. I don't like to paint that small, but it worked. Eventually I start working on her afro, and her afro was actually a very interesting part of the painting. Like I just went in with black, and then you can start seeing like different elements of like blue and like white for like the highlight and how it builds up that volume in her hair. So that was very interesting. There's just different colors in there that you wouldn't normally notice. So that was really interesting. I was like, oh, this actually is turning out very well. I love this. And it was so simple because it was just done in like a couple seconds, and it was very easy, very simple. Towards the end of the painting, I realized that this was a horrible, horrible angle for my camera to be, because I'm left-handed and my hand was just covering the entire thing. So I had to speed this part up just to move past it, because I don't know, I feel like I did not film that part very well, but it is what it is. Painting and filming is very hard, very challenging. I don't know how people paint with a big ass camera in their face and do not have any issues with that, but you're better than me. But so this is the final result. I love it so much. It's so awesome. It's kind of got like a warm tone to it as well. Like I can't describe it, but it's gorgeous in real life. I love it. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you guys in the next one.